Well, I'm joined by Liam Williams, who is going to have the week of his life coming up. Liam, you are sitting on your balcony. Thank you for joining me. I take it, near to Hollywood, Florida.
Yeah, I'm obviously here in Miami. Do you know what? I don't actually know the exact place I am, but I don't really care either. I don't need to know. So yeah, I'm just here. I'm just chilling. I'm doing my fair bit. I'm just keeping sharp. Obviously adjusting to the times. I've only been here 2 days, and it's going fairly good already. I'm just about starting to get used to the time zones and stuff. It's going to be a couple more days, but that's the reason why you come 11 days before. That's why I've come 11 days before.
Travel is very strict at the moment between the UK and the USA. What have you been able to do? Have you got everyone you need there?
I would have liked to have more people here, to be honest with you, but the people I really need, they are here. So that's the main thing. As long as I've got Dom, I've got my cutsman, I've got my physio, and I've got my old man and two mates.
Does it disappoint you that you can't have hordes of fans coming to support you?
Yeah, it's a bit disappointing because obviously, I've worked my ass off for the last 10 years as a professional, 9-10 years, and this is that big moment in it which I've been waiting for. So I've worked all this time. The amount of people that want to come and that are supporting me, sending me love and everything is unbelievable. But it's not the same as having that crowd, is it? It doesn't matter to me because at the end of the day, there's three in the ring. Two of us are fighting each other, whether it's in his back garden, my back garden, Miami, Wales. It doesn't matter. It's just a case of turning up, and the best man will win. That's all there is.
The fight with Bubu Andrade for the world title has been on the cards for a long time, hasn't it? You've had him on your mind for a long time.
Yeah, it's been on the horizon for some time now. Obviously, I've been mandatory for a good while. Obviously, a couple of things put a delay on it because of COVID and travel restrictions and whatnot. But I believe, although I do think this fight probably should have happened a little bit sooner in time, I think it's come at a very good time for me. Everything is sweet in my life, outside and inside of the gym, and I'm in a good place. So I do think it's come at a very good time for me, and a bad time for Demetrius Andrade.
You will have worked very closely with Dom Ince on the strategy for this fight. We know you've matured as a fighter. Your last 7 fights since you suffered a couple of losses have all been by TKO or KO. Everybody watches you now and they know that you have that killer instinct, that you have world-class qualities. Educated pressure comes very strongly into my mind when I think about how you go about this guy. We know what you can do. We know how tough you are. We know how powerful you are. We know how aggressive you can be. We know it's naturally in you. Have you and Dom worked very hard on training yourself to do educated pressure in this fight?
Yeah, of course, mate. Let's be honest. It's no secret that there's a certain way I need to approach the fight. If I dance around the outside of the ring, sit on the ropes, and try and jab his head off, anybody with a bit of boxing knowledge would be able to tell you that that's not going to work for me. That's not my. I can do that. I can box. Don't get me wrong, but against the likes of Bubu, that's not going to work because he's a talented, skillful southpaw, and it's always going to be a difficult task, however I approach it. But to try and stand long and outbox him, it isn't going to be the way for me.
So it comes down to timing and space between you, doesn't it? It sounds kind of very basic, that, but it really does come down to that, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course. There's obviously a lot of there's a lot more to it, as you said, but that's the very basic view from the outside. Then let's say, yeah, we've got a very specific game plan we're going to follow, and I believe I'm going to knock it straight on the head because I've been working on it so hard. I go to sleep thinking of him. I wake up thinking of him, and and that's not like, some people will say, "Oh, he's living in your head, rent free," blah blah. Maybe so, but I believe that that's the way to do it. That's just me being fully focused on him, and nothing else. If my mind was elsewhere, then I'd have to question how focused I really was on beating him.
Do you have a tendency of making it very personal when it's on and it's signed? Is it very personal for you?
Yeah, it is, because at the end of the day, we're going to have a fight and we're going to try and hurt each other. I don't want to be his friend. I want to dislike him, and I want to hurt him, and I plan to hurt him quite bad as well. But not to sound too nasty, but that's really the goal, isn't it? So, yeah, I don't want to be his friend. I'll be his friend after the fight. I'll shake his hand once I've beat him, but that's all there's going to be to it. He's got something which I really want, and that's all there is, and we can have a fight for it. So there is no friendship, really.
That thing you want, the thing that he's got, the thing that you've craved, the thing that you've thought about when you wake up and when you go to sleep, what will it mean to you? Will it change your life?
Yeah, of course it will. It's going to be special. It's what I've worked. It's what I've worked all these years for. It's yeah. It's been a long time coming. I believe I've always had the quality, but I believe this last, like, maybe 2 or 3 years I've really been focused, and I just don't feel like there's many people out there that want it as much as I do, and I will do anything together.
When you look back in your life, can you remember the first time as a kid where you went, do you know what? I'm going to be a world champion. I just know it. It's in me.
Do you know, I actually can't, because as a kid, I'll be straight with you. I never ever planned on turning professional, although I knew I was good. Just didn't really think too far in front. I just, took it as it comes, all of my stride, and I happened to turn professional. I probably didn't even think I'd win a Welsh title, British title. I just thought, just see how it goes. Do you know what I'm saying? And to be honest with you, I still kind of approach it the same way. I know I'm good enough, and I know I can get there. It's just a case of, what's the point in looking too far in front, because there's so many obstacles in the way.
So did it just evolve slowly that, obviously, you're from a very tough area. I mean, it's traditionally a very tough rugby, drinking, singing, emotional, fighting area. It's the Rhondda Valley is very tough people, former mining communities, very blue collar, but very honest and authentic people. Do you know what I mean? Heart on the sleeve, isn't it?
Yeah.
Was there a lot of fighting growing up?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I was always a little bastard, to be honest with you. I couldn't stop having a fight with anyone. Not so much, it was just, I've always been very hot-headed. I'd play a game of rugby, a game of football. Somebody tackles me hard, somebody does something I didn't like, I was just going to punch him in the face, and it was as simple as that. And nobody was going to stop me. So, it's not the best approach looking back. If it was my kid, I'd probably slap him across the back of the head and tell him to sort his head. But That's just the way I've always been, and I've always been quite aggressive and short-tempered in certain situations. So yeah, as a kid, there was always a lot of fights and that kind of thing going on for me. Whether it was, as I said, on the football pitch, rugby pitch, downtown Pandy on a Friday night when I was drinking cans underage. There was always something.
So it wasn't a 2 litre. You weren't that bad that you were drinking 2 litres of cider then.
Even worse back then, it was 3 litres.
So you were a tearaway.
Strongbow.
Yeah, strongbow. Yeah. So
yeah.
were you like playing hooker in the rugby as well, and right in the scrum and all of that stuff, or where were you playing? Did you play serious rugby or not?
No. Just like local, just with the boys and stuff like that. But I didn't really actually play rugby properly, like games and that. But I used to play football.
Yeah. Were you talented?
No. I used to fall over the ball all the time. I had 2 left feet. That was crap. But it was a bit of fun. It was something to do. You know, you're young, couple of the boys and that. So it was good. But as I said, from a young age, I knew that wasn't me. I was always quite hands-on and physical, and obviously football isn't that, and it didn't work for me.
So boxing's been amazing for you in your life. You're a 28-year-old man with a family. You know, you're so loved and respected in your community now. You're not seen as someone as a tearaway, are you? You're seen as a role model. It must be a nice feeling.
Yeah, to be honest with you, excuse me. Yeah, it's nice. It's very nice, to be honest with you, because now you know, not to blow smoke up my own ass, but where I'm from, like a lot of people do respect me, and the young kids, they look up to me. I drive past in the street, and you can see I'm like, that's Liam there, like it's fucking hell, it's that boxer. He's in his new Porsche, you know, like that, all that kind of stuff, and it's amazing, really, because if I didn't box, then to be honest, it probably saved me. I probably would have been in prison, or yeah, probably I would have probably been in prison, to be honest with you, because I would have got up to no good.
That's great that boxing has done that for you, and you've become that person. But you'll change the lives of all those little ones around you as well, because they're seeing and they're not looking up to someone who's hard as fucking nails, but at the same time is doing bad shit. You're doing good shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you're right, exactly. And do you know, the thing is, what I always try to do is, like what you just say there, try and be a good example to, if I'm walking through Asda in Pandy, I'll go in Asda to get a pint of milk, and I'm there for an hour. Do you know what? It actually pisses me off, but I try and show every single person, if somebody tries to speak to me, I'll stand there for 10 minutes and talk with them. I'll talk boxing, I'll talk whatever, you know. It's the way I am. If I see a young kid looking at me like and saying something to his mother, or, you know, that's not box, I'll speak to him. I'll just try and, because it sends off a good example, doesn't it? And maybe, as you just said, maybe I could be the one to
change their lives. Yeah, no, it's when you say just then, because I want to clarify this, because you deserve this. When you say it pisses you off, you don't actually mean that. What you mean is, just to get a pint of milk, it's an hour in the supermarket. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What I mean, it can be hard work. It doesn't piss me off. I like speaking. I'm a people person. I love speaking to new people.
But you know that if you're leaving home, it's going to be an hour to get there and back to get the milk.
Yeah, I just prepare myself. But I love just speaking to random. I'll chat shit for an hour to a random person I've never met before. I'm just that kind of person. But as I said, the main thing for me is, if I just show these people or these kids or whatever, I could be the one to set them a good example and stop them from taking drugs or stop them from going to prison for selling drugs. Do you know what I'm saying? That kind of thing.
Or drinking 3 litres of cider when they're 14 and skipping off school and getting arrested and ended up in prison. End of, you know?
Yeah, I used to drink 3 litre every Friday night in Tonopandi, and probably 8 times out of 10 I'd knock somebody out, whether it be man, woman, child. I'm just kidding. I'm only messing. But no, I would always be fighting.
End up in a
just,
fight,
just,
yeah.
I just being an idiot, to be honest with you. Looking back, I was just, if I seen myself now, where I'm at now, if I looked at myself as a kid, I probably wouldn't like him very much.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, it's amazing. Also winning the world title, what would it mean to you? There's been some amazing Welsh boxers. What would it mean to you to win a world title and join the names? I've written a few down here while I was waiting for you. Jimmy Wilde, Howard Winston, Tommy Farr, Joe Calzaghe. You know, I mean, there's lots more, but what would it mean to you to join that? Because the Welsh are a tribe as well. It's like, you know, and what would it mean to you to join those names as a world champion?
Yeah, it goes without saying, really, don't it? You don't have to sugarcoat it. It's amazing. It'd be unreal to go alongside the likes of these people. But you know what? Being totally honest with you, for me, winning a world title, it changes nothing. It won't change me as a person. I'll still walk down the road with the same clothes on, with the same attitude, with the same, for me, the biggest thing for me about winning a world title would be making everybody proud who invested in me as a kid. Like the number one person for me would be Ivor Bartlett. I don't know. I'm guessing you maybe heard of him, or
I've heard of him. I don't know him. Yeah.
Yeah. Ivor, his name is. Everybody knows him as Pete Bartlett. He trained me since I was 9 years old until I turned professional, and he was kind of that man who, whatever he said, you just listen to him. He could tell me I'm a black man, and he's got that much influence over you. You just, yeah, okay, I'm a black. Do you know what I'm saying? So he's one of them people, but amazing guy, and he's getting on a bit now. It'd be nothing more. Nothing would make me more proud than to go and see him with that belt. That'd be the first person I go and see next week.
Amazing. When you look back on your career, what have you learned most about yourself as a fighter?
That's a tough question. As a fighter, I don't really know. I would just say, as a person, boxing has taught me that I'm a lot more of a man than I once believed I was. Not as a fighter, but just I'm just saying to you as a man. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's taught me how to respect people a lot more than I would have before.
Control yourself as well, obviously.
Yeah, everything. Just discipline, and just discipline and respect are the main two, I would say.
How will your week look like next week? Are you going to, do you need to get into him, or is it all about you next week?
Yeah, I think
through the week, I mean.
I think it's just a case of next week. I don't get me wrong. I like a bit of back and forth. I like a bit of get a bit of edge going for the fight. But for me, I think it's just about when we face to face, when we in each other's company. I'm pretty sure it will be a bit. There might be a bit of tension and stuff. But for me, it's just about just looking after number one, keep myself calm. Just
obviously the diet, the focus, the just keep myself active in a good way, just a bit of walking, a bit of stretching, yeah, and just staying focused really, not allow myself to. I'll be turning my social media off probably a couple of days before the fight, because that's another thing I've noticed. Well, now I've got a bit more of a bigger name, I get people, crazy amounts of people asking me for things, asking me for signed gloves. Where can I buy T-shirts from? Just all this stuff. And to be honest with you, it's lovely again, but it burns my head out a little bit. And I don't really think they quite understand the mental pressure that I'm, well, not just me, but us as fighters, we go through during fight week. And also, it's a case of dieting and making weight and stuff. So physically as well, in the most amazing position, to be honest.
One of the things that I have noticed over the last couple of years is a brilliantly dynamic relationship you've got with Dom Ingle, even to the point where there's that brilliant video of you wrestling him to the ground and him trying to wrap you up in a jiu-jitsu move.
Didn't work. Yeah.
You grounded him out, yeah?
Hey, it didn't work though, did it? He
No.
can do whatever moves out he wants. The thing is, he's on the slide, I'm on the up. So,
but it's a very, very good relationship, you and him, isn't it? As trainer and fighter.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, I get on with Dom very, very well. And I think the main cause of us, we always have a lot of fun together. We have a good laugh and a joke and whatever. But I think the main thing for me, which just makes me love and respect Dom so much, is just a respect for him of what he does. Like as the way he treats us as fighters, the way he does our food. If you're having a bit of bother outside of the ring, and he can see you're a bit stressed, or, he's like another father. The way he approaches things, he just does everything the right way, and he's got, I just got a massive amount of respect for him, and that was kind of the start of our friendship.
No, it's clearly a brilliant relationship. Just a couple of other things which are like housekeeping in a way, that what's going on in the boxing world. Have you had an eye on fighting Billy Joe Saunders or Canelo at some point as well?
On fighting them?
Yeah.
Well, I have. So basically, I'm always thinking, although you can only do one step at a time.
Yeah.
I'm always kind of one eye on what could potentially be, And I think you have to really, to keep yourself motivated to keep wanting more. So yeah, I have. I've been thinking. So basically, if and when I win this fight, I'm obviously very confident, but it's hardly a gimme. I'm confident I'm going to win this fight. I want to fight Golovkin next. I'd love to fight Golovkin. I don't want no defenses of top 10, like, fringe level. I want good fights. You want
unifications.
Golovkin.
You want unifications, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I want Golovkin or Charlo maybe. If not, then I'll be WBO champion as a middleweight. I'll move up to super middleweight and become mandatory for a super middleweight title. Although middleweight right now is my weight, then I don't really care. I'm willing to move up and fight a bigger man, for the bigger prize.
Have you thought about who might win out of Canelo and Saunders?
To be honest with you, listen, they're both amazing fighters, very good. I think it just depends very much, because Billy Joe is the type of fighter, let's not make any mistake, he blows hot and cold, yeah. Sometimes he comes in, he looks more than $1 million. Looks outstanding. And then other times you might turn up and you're expecting big things of him, and to be honest, doesn't look great. So it just depends where his mindset is, how he's prepared. It's no secret that, you know, in the past he's been a little bit lazy, lacks a bit of dedication in terms of diet and that kind of thing.
But what if he's in shape and prepared and mentally right and sharp?
The very, very best, Billy Joe Saunders potentially beats Canelo. Got the ability to. Obviously, it's one of them fights where they're both very high level. But I just think the momentum is with Canelo. He's been fighting regularly. I would, to be honest, I would slightly edge to Canelo, because I personally think it's going to be a case of Billy Joe beats him for 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7 rounds. I think he'd be ahead. And I think that's where Canelo comes in. That's where the activity of Canelo comes into play. That's where the, you know, he's been in back-to-back camps. He's been making weight back-to-back. I think that's where that kind of thing comes into play, and just living the better life.
All right, bell rings next Saturday night, Hollywood, Florida. What happens?
I think it's going to be a tricky opening couple of rounds, 4 or 5 rounds. I just think he's probably going to come out swinging like he does. He always has a fast start. He normally drops people early. He ain't going to drop me, because I'm obviously from Clydach and I'm hard as they come. So, nah, I expect him to come out working hard. He normally does. And, you know, as long as I can fiddle my way through and look after myself and do my work, I think 4, 5, 6 rounds, that's where you start seeing him get beat up. And I honestly don't see it going to the cards. I don't see... people have asked me, what about the judging? But there is going to be, in my eyes, there's not going to be any judges at the end of the fight. There's just going to be the ref raising my hand because he's still sat down having oxygen on his stool. That's my honest opinion. Sounds a bit brutal, but it's just the way it is.
Well, it leads to that, doesn't it? It leads to that. Simple as that. Liam, it's brilliant to see you. You seem in fantastic shape physically as well as mentally and emotionally. It's only a week to go now. It's such a shame that we're in these strange times and there aren't thousands of us there with you. I mean, it's such a weird time, but I wish you all the best in your fight next week, and bring it home to the UK, bring it home to Wales, bring it home to Clydach Vale.
Will do, mate. Thank you very much. I appreciate the time as always, and the love and support, obviously. Massively appreciated.
It's an absolute pleasure.